Attempt 3. It's real genuine when you try it 3 times.
Yeah.
Hello. My name is BSG4000, aka Chris Bidwell. I was a finalist in the 2015 Nintendo World Championships, and this year I attended the finals in the audience for NWC 2017 in New York City. I went and bought one of these jackets. Ooh, pretty. Just like the finalists have. They didn't get special jackets this year. Over here is my co-host for the evening.
Yep. I have no swag, therefore I have elected to vote myself out of this video. No, JD Lowe. Oh.
Sorry. Very salty.
It's not your fault. Yeah, actually.
Had you given me money, I might have bought you something. But I was...
You know, funny thing is that I was talking with people. I was like, I should have reached out to Chris and be like, "Hey, can you buy me some swag?"
I was really short on money. Quick story. I took a bus to New York City. I went overnight Friday night, got to New York City about 11:30 noon, did a lot of crap around the city, and it was stupid hot, and I got really disgusting nerd sweaty and had a change of clothes, fortunately, but I still don't think, even with the change of clothes and deodorant, that I completely obliterated that. But, yeah. And then I left at 10, 11 o'clock that night on the bus back home. So I did it on the uber cheap and the not glamorous way of get there. But I think I had to be there because I kind of feel that the finalists are a fraternity. And I wanted to extend a branch between us and the 15 guys and the 17 guys. I know John Numbers is there already, but you know, if there's more than just one of us that's saying, hey, we're in a group now, let's do some things, and we have this thing special. I'm rambling a bit, but I probably should have saved that for the end.
It's a really good thing, because I was going to touch on this anyway towards the beginning, that I'm really happy that Nintendo is doing this Nintendo World Championship, because they are slowly but sure. I know people are going to get after me for the phrase esports. They are slowly but surely starting to actually embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you went back a few years and you saw how they hated on people doing Melee and whatnot at Evo, now you have them starting to slowly but surely approach those niches, and you doing it from the inside actually helps strengthen the community anyway. It says, hey, you know what, there is a camaraderie here, there is something that's worth investing in, and I think that was actually a really smart move on your part.
I wouldn't say smart. I did it. I got my little tiny ego boost when they showed that really millisecond clip of 15 with me giving my bro hug to Mr. Blarney after I won the Zelda race from 15. Of all the moments they could have chosen in that 4-hour program, they chose that split-second clip to show at the beginning. So,
and that goes with the whole you helping push camaraderie with Nintendo.
Yes, and we'll get into it even more as we go along the event. But my purpose is I kind of want a fraternity of the competitors, because after the fact, and Nintendo is under no obligation to help to talk to people and keep them in the loop and that sort of thing once they're done with their competition, because ultimately for them it's about marketing and getting eyeballs on their products, and that's fine. The people that make it real are us, so it's real to me, damn it.
They've got to have all those eyes on that really hot product like Bird and Beans.
I love that game.
Oh my god, that's so fun!
I love that game. That was a WarioWare old school game.
We'll get to that in a little bit. I'm just saying.
Again, another thing we'll get to. But anyhow, this is Mr. JD Lowe.
Yep.
He was 4th place in the Chicago qualifiers, and more importantly, you put together the nationwide database.
Yes.
Had a spreadsheet up on the Google Docs for people to look at and to give people an idea of what they were aiming for when they went to the competition. Mm-hmm. So that took a lot of work and a lot of Twitter back and forth and a lot of reports from everywhere else. And
begging people, hey, do me a favor, when you can, take a picture of this TV screen for me.
Yeah, and give me your Twitter handle, please, because we wanted to open up the dialogue not just with the finalists, but also with the near finalists, because frankly, I've developed a relationship with 3 or 4 of the near finalists from 15, so I think that they're just as much as part of the community as the finalists, and you get this group of people going, and then maybe they'll go up to the next one and win next time, because I was a near finalist in 1990, and then 25 years later, I get in. So it's important to not shut out people, this is Nintendo. We'll get more into it. It's not a jerk scene by and large.
Yeah.
In real life. There's a difference between in real life and online. But in real life, I've yet to meet a jerk in this in this group of people.
Right.
So,
yeah.
anyhow, we'll get started. Did I go into the bus trip already on
Yes.
this cake? Okay, yeah. So
yeah.
I went up there, like $120, in and out. Went to the Nintendo store, bought myself a lovely sweatshirt. I went to the somewhat famous Video Games New York store.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and I walked there, and I started at Nintendo stores on 46th Street.
Okay.
And I walked all the way down to 6th Street, so 40 blocks plus
Oh!
in 80-degree heat in New York. And I've never been there before, so I was taking quick snapshots of everything I found interesting between there and there. So the Empire State Building, keep going. Rockefeller Center, keep going.
Yeah.
A Spirit Halloween store in an abandoned storefront. Took a picture of that because even in New York City, in Manhattan, you got crappy Halloween pop-up stores taking over abandoned storefronts. So that's how I am. And then all the way back up to the Hammerstein Ballroom at the Manhattan Center, which is across the street from Madison Square Garden.
Nice.
For NWC 17. And the Hammerstein Ballroom is very cool, especially if you're, say, a wrestling fan. The very first Monday Night Raw was taped there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Some, like the ECW return. Remember when WWFE bought them out?
Oh, yeah.
They had that one night stand pay-per-view. That was filmed at the Hammerstein Ballroom.
Oh, okay.
So it's like this medium-sized venue for the city. They get a lot of concerts and stuff there, and it's this weird sort of theater, but it's like on the 7th or 8th floor of this building. So it's a nice small venue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember, it was like 600 some seats available for the competition for viewing, which were free tickets, but you had to be there at 9:30 to get your wristband. Whereas in 2015, when they had it in the Microsoft Theater, there were thousands of seats in that building, and they don't even think they got it half full. So the LA crowd, there was a lot of video game people there that week for E3, and they were enthusiastic when they were told to be, and there were cool moments to be enthusiastic about. But I think the New York crowd, of course I was also in this crowd, so I'm a little biased about it, but the energy with that crowd for a 4-hour show was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it came through on the broadcast or not. When I watched it again, it seemed it was a bit muted compared to the game sound effects and the commentary crew.
Well,
but we came through when we
yeah.
needed to, and and we kept the energy up pretty well for most of the show.
Yeah, it really depends on what. If you went with the official Nintendo stream, it did get muted. But if you got like the fan videos or things like that stream, it was like goosebumps.
I forget the guy's name because he's got. I was sitting next to him. I was stuck between a dad behind me and a dad to the left of me, taking their sons, and like the guy behind me was cool. He was super into it. He was, saying like, "So is John Numbers going to win it all again?" Because he kind of figured it out early on that he was, and I was like, "Probably."
Yeah.
And then the guy to the left of me just didn't want to be there. He was checking his stock quotes and shit on the phone. But his son was there, and then they left like an hour, and they left an hour before it was over with too.
Oh, because they're probably thinking it was going to end by like 8 or 8:30.
Yeah, the original time was saying it was 8 originally in time, and it ended up like going past 9 o'clock. And I told him, look, I think they were in this. They just finished Splatoon. It was like, I think they got 3 more rounds of this because they're gonna draw out that final 3. Yeah. And they did.
Yeah.
And I understand like traffic, and because when I left at 11 o'clock, the traffic getting out of the tunnel was ridiculous. It took us an hour to get out of the city. Oh, so I get it, especially if you're local and stuff there. But that kid. He was so close. I mean, leaving early in a baseball game, like before a climactic ending. And if it's a 50-0 game, then sure you don't want to stick around to the end. But.
Right, yeah, but this right here. I mean, again, people were thinking, okay, John Numbers is going to win this because you put it perfectly a while back. You said John Numbers is the Swiss Army knife of video games. Is he excellent at everything? No. Nowhere near. No offense, John, at all.
No, he'll be the first to say that. And when there's a group of us 15 finalists. We were chatting all throughout the qualifiers about the best strategy to win and that sort of thing. And, of course, Numbers had the benefit of playing in the first week before everything was really out there on how to do it with the wall jumps and the proper place to jump into the lava to get you to advance to get the best scores. And I don't know... It didn't seem like the Mario Kart pros came out to the New York for some reason.
Yeah, I don't think that they they thought that everyone else was going to be there already. Like, I was in the Mario Kart Discord, and they were thinking, like, yeah, there's probably going to be experts there. There's no real reason for me to go.
Yeah.
And then they go and they see that Cole G dominated in, which one was that? San Fernando?
Cole, San Francisco, yes.
Yeah. And he did he had a fantastic run. I think it was sub 115.
Yeah,
which,
he was the first one to beat it.
Yeah.
John, it ended up being numbers got the slowest qualifying score.
Yeah.
But nobody, if you're going to travel to a city to do something like this, New York is obviously the most expensive city, expensive cab ride from the airport, expensive hotels.
Yeah.
You know, even if you go to like the Bay Area, you can find an Airbnb or something that's a lot, you know, there's ways around it to go to other places to do better. So, you know, a couple of the competitors end up, I forget who flew to Dallas after he had gotten second in LA.
Yep. Actually, Thomas G.
Thomas G. Oh, Ito was first.
Oh, that's
was
right.
first
No,
in LA.
Super FX.
Super FX, thank you.
That's it. Because I know that Will, the guy that we met at Chicago, did the same thing of going to Chicago and Minneapolis. Yeah,
some of the 12 and unders went to two places. I can't remember her name. She was a 12 and under. She won she was only a couple females to be in the top 10 of any list. Kind of surprised she wasn't one of the invites, but I don't know. I did notify Nintendo about that because they tend to try to bring in a few women and that sort of thing, and you know the two speedrunners they brought in held their especially Yellow Bee,
Yellow Jacket.
What's her name? That's unfair.
Hey Macarena.
Yellow Killer Bee.
Yellow Killer Bee. That's it. I'm sorry.
Okay, and then the guy was sitting next. Going back to my original thing, his Twitter handle is DINYC3ST, so DNYC 3rd Street. But how do you pronounce that? I don't know what his actual name is. But he was in front of me, going back to what we were just talking about, so I was able to talk to him, and he was friends with Zerk.
Oh, okay.
He was there recording Zerk and stuff, and Zerk won the Arms Invitational. Now, was that invite or was that open?
That was invite.
So he's in a fighting game scene, I take it then.
Yes.
To get an invite to that, and he won that.
Yep.
But that allowed him to get to. And then Tuberon, he was a winner of the
Mario Kart.
No, the San Diego Comic-Con 12 and under Smash Brothers.
That's right. Yeah.
But is that was that an entry, like an open type of thing?
Invitation.
It was an invitation.
So John Numbers won.
He was not. Yeah.
I'm saying he was the only one that really wasn't a Mario Kart god, and then the ones that had like a special name with how they labeled it in the actual broadcast.
Yeah.
They were more than likely going to be the invites.
And we're meandering way too much already.
We're only 13 minutes in. We barely actually had this conversation.
Yeah, I mean,
hi.
We haven't even gotten to the round one yet, but let's just jump into it.
Yes.
The first round, they say it's a trifecta of games, and here I'm thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if they did NWC Remix?
I was terrified of exactly that. It's like, Numbers gonna win.
What I was like, that if they do NWC Remix, I'm gonna do a lap around the whole building because I would have just been so excited.
Mm-hmm.
But they did a trilogy of modern stuff.
Yep.
And it was cool because it was like mini game type of they pulled stuff out of their current lineup that you could do a competition with.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, you know, they were short enough. It was a nice, so you weren't eliminated based off of bad luck on one game. You were eliminated because you aren't keeping a date with the current Nintendo product line.
Right, yeah.
So they started out with the Breath of the Wild Shield run. I don't know my Breath of the Wild that well. I haven't gotten my copy yet.
Right.
Santa's probably bringing us a Switch this Christmas. I don't know for sure. I have to be a good boy, but I think I think we can get one. What do you think, Dee? She said she thinks he will. I think she's been a good girl this year, but I don't get to make that choice. But anywho, there's a mountain where you can do a course. I guess it's built into the game.
Correct. Yeah. There's all kinds of mini games. There's like hang gliding mini games for how far you can go or how long you can like stay in the air. How time wise you can do that.
Right.
But there's a few different of the shield riding ones, and they did the one that was I can't even remember the name of the track, but
it was on a mountain. Whatever.
Yeah, it was an expert level one, I believe.
I'm sure. Yeah, and you know, I guess the trick is. You can go straight, but the best way is you can also cheat and use your glider to get off a mountain. Mm-hmm. But then if you want to get the best times, you have to determine when you can fall, but not lose all your hearts when you fall at the end. So you have to if you could time it just right,
Yeah.
you could get big points. But I think that the strategy was just finish before the 3 minutes are up.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Do you have that spreadsheet up? Because I had who the winner was, plus the 3 people who didn't finish. It's in bold right there.
All right. So Cole won. Nice. Go Cole. No. Oh, I thought he had Cole number 1 here.
Oh, yep. Cole G, a Mario Kart expert.
Yep.
He took the We didn't get any official times. Again, that's
he tried to do as much research as he could on.
Yeah, I did. I got the point totals off of Nintendo, and if you actually do the research on that, they messed up and put Anthony V twice.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, Jeff.
That was Jeff.
Yeah.
And then after they fixed that one, then Anthony V got switched again with Steven. And so we got that all figured out, and I've got a spreadsheet. I'm going to amend to his spreadsheet. We'll put the link in the description and all that kind of happy stuff, and on Twitter and things with the final results, with as much scorekeeping as we could have possibly put in there.
Right. Yeah.
But the more importantly, 3 people did not even finish. So you could have had you could have gotten a few points.
Yep.
Had you. But again, this not everybody has a Switch, not everybody has Breath of the Wild, not everybody's even into these games. So. Bailey didn't finish.
Abe didn't finish, and Austin didn't finish. Now, I want you to go ahead and mention
Abe. Okay,
Abe. Please,
I met Abe in Chicago. He was the 12 and under winner. I just briefly talked to him. I said, I was in 15. This is going to be experience of a lifetime. Soak it all in. Take pictures. Have fun with it. You're going to be less nervous in the finals than you are here.
Yep.
At least absolutely. I was, because you're one winner out of several hundred people versus
one winner out of 24.
One winner out of 24, plus you've already done the hard part. There's really not. There's no stakes for the winner for this thing.
Yeah.
Weirdly, the winner doesn't really get anything other than a trophy and a medal. They didn't even get a Miyamoto signed DS.
That's kind of sad. But hey,
again, the gripes. Same for the end.
Yep.
Okay, but Cole G. Or not Cole G.
Abe. Oh, Abe. Yeah.
Abe. So I was just I'm kind of rooting for the kid. I'm rooting for all the kids in this thing. Because shocker number 1, the kids are facing the adults. Everybody's all looped together.
I was really expecting it to be completely separate. And then maybe at the end?
In 1990, they had 3 divisions. Mm-hmm. They all competed separately. Then there was an impromptu match between the 3 winners at the end. And the teenagers won that. And then the kids beat the adults. Adults were 3rd place in that. But anyway... So adults are facing the kids. Everybody's facing each other on equal ground. And the last competitor is Cole. Or not Cole. God, I keep getting him. Abe, thank you. And he's struggling. And this is New York City, and the crowd's getting kind of silent. He's the only screen left. They can't anybody else to switch to.
Yeah.
And you could see the frustration on his face.
He started climbing a wall.
He was
actually decently close to the line, I think. He just didn't really know where he was going, unfortunately.
He got frustrated. And
it happens.
This is New York City. If you know anything about sports in New York City, East Coast in general just has rowdy fans.
Yep.
Not as bad as Philly, but New York can have some rowdy fans. As we said, ECW had a lot of shows at this. This is... But... Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of eerily silent, and I just say, "You got this, Abe," because the names were in front. I didn't mess up the names at the live event. I didn't say Cole. I said, "You got this, Abe," and I don't know if he heard me or not, but everybody in the crowd starts chanting for Abe and encouraging him. Not even a Bronx cheer. Not even
it was legit.
Not Twitch chat. Not whatever.
Kappa. No.
Everybody was just like, "Dude is under 12 years old on a big stage like this."
Yep. You could hear the energy of the crowd when the cheering started happening. It was a slow build to it. It felt like it got really strong.
I like to think that I helped start that. I don't know if I did or not. I'm going to take credit. I'm going to take complete credit for that. But my goal, I'm cheering for everybody. Like I said, I want this group of people to be a fraternity. Mm-hmm. And spoiler alert, he got his act together and he's finished in the top 16 to avoid the underground the first round.
Yeah.
So overall, the kids were all amazing.
Yep.
Shout out to Abe for overcoming that choke moment at the beginning. And thank goodness that the format was what it was, so that one choke didn't ruin his whole time there.
Yeah.
So, but cool little intro to start with, a little low key, not action packed. It's kind of like, hey, here we go, we're starting here, and great choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got your hit game, get that out of the way, and it's cool. So after that, then you jump into
Home
Smash
Run.
Brothers Home Run with
now,
the beanbag, with Mr. Beanbag. Is that what they call it?
Cole,
Mr.
Sandbag.
Mr. Sandbag. Thank you.
Now, Cole and Jeff went onto the Discord Saturday night and started doing an impromptu AMA. And they said that while they were, just before the competition, they had, Nintendo got everyone together for a party.
Mm-hmm.
And they had consoles set up with all these different mini-games already pre-queued up. And while they never said these are going to be in it, it was kind of a hint. That way people could go ahead and start practicing.
Really?
So that's how you notice that everyone is choosing Gandalf. Everyone was choosing Roy?
Yeah.
I can never remember that. I think one or two people did Bowser or maybe DDD. But that's exactly what happened. And they were kind of given like vague hints, like I said, like, hey, you might do a little bit of Legend of Zelda. And they were told that Super Mario Odyssey is going to be in there at some point, but they weren't told what.
Oh, it had to have been the final. If you know the format of this thing, after what they did in 15, you know that was the final. They're a new Donk City, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Since NWC plays like a reality show, there's going to be elements of a reality show where stuff that goes on off camera, hints by the producers.
Yeah.
There's going to be that sort of thing going on. So if you ever find yourselves a finalist in one of these things, pay attention to every little detail.
Every detail counts.
They did announce beforehand that the Metroid Samus Returns.
They didn't say what was going to be a part of it.
They didn't say what it was, but I was talking to John Numbers again about this, and he said that he kind of figured out that was the point, because it's early enough in the game but you just have a handful of abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But it's sort of a race sort of deal.
Yeah.
And if you look at the final totals, we're already getting to the part 3. But the sandbag part was, you had a lot of good Smash players in there, and it was a pretty good race. Near the end, but didn't Tora...
So Tuberon won.
Tuberon won it late too, if I remember. He was part of the second group,
mm-hmm.
and he's a kid. I don't know if he's 13 or not, but you kind of just put him in with the kid group just because he's young. You were thinking that like Asa had a really big run. Yeah,
Holy cow! He came in second.
Yeah,
Ender came in second.
Oh yeah, going back to the first part, Numbers only got 5 points.
Yeah,
he just basically finished and didn't really do much, but he finished. That's all he wanted to do is just collect some points to finish.
Right.
And then the guy in front of me, Third Street guy,
yep, mm-hmm.
Fly Guy, D New York.
Yep.
But he was saying, "Oh man, your boy, he's struggling up there."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, we'll see what the other games are." But he got his points the first round. As soon as Smash came up, it's like, well, he'll make it up.
Yeah.
And he did. He got like 6,000. Like a lot of people got 6,000, but I think he grabbed like 20 points.
Yeah, Numbers. He came in third place.
Third place, so 22 points.
Yep.
So that put him right back into the thick of things and not have to worry about the underground.
Yeah.
But what's the range of scores here? Is there like a clear delineation? Oh, that's right. We didn't have the totals. But
correct.
It was a lot of people had like 3,000-4,000.
Yep.
Then
you had a couple of people
then the people that got. I don't even think anybody got flat out 0.
Sonny got 0. Sonny, unfortunately, he knew the tactic.
Right.
He could not get the timing right on Ganon's backward Phantom Fist.
So he was a qualifier,
yep.
12 and under.
Mm-hmm.
So the Mario Kart players playing Smash Brothers, you would think that you're aiming for competence.
Right.
You're aiming to not lose.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them did okay. Sonny unfortunately didn't.
Right.
But again, that's a nice, fast, exciting, and the rapid fire way in which they did that was great.
Yes.
I will say that I wish they would put up the totals on the screen.
Yeah.
We're going to say that a lot.
A lot.
If you could get one more guy back in tech to, there is technology that will capture point totals off the screen directly and then place them directly into a database. So you can import the scores from your graphics to put on the screen, not just the places, but also it can do all the work for you. You don't have to write everything down by hand, which I know they have one judge per screen taking down all the official scores, which you do as a backup. You don't not do that with the paper, but you can have the digital versions done directly out from software from video capture.
Yep.
There's a guy who does the classic Tetris World Championships. His name is Trey Harrison.
Yep.
Give him a call, Nintendo. He does fantastic work.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So
But yeah, just captured right off the screen, put in all your stats, instant graphic of who's winning.
Yep.
And for the stream, you don't even have to show all the screens anymore. You can just say current leader has X thing, current top 3, top 10. You can do you got so many options, and since it's video games, it's not like it's analog. It's not like a football where you have to.
It depends on how much time Nintendo's really been planning each game, though. Because maybe let's go ahead and say. I hate to go ahead and skip ahead a little bit. Bird and Beans. Let's go ahead and say that was a last minute addition. Now they have to write custom code to look specifically for the score for Bird and Beans. Would it have been too tough? It's all right.
Yeah. I think, but anyway, the technology's out there. I'm not pissed. I'm not like, this
We're
sucks.
Furious!
This is a fraud! Yeah! I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there is ways to do that, and if this is coming back, which I'm glad it is, that's something to look into.
Yep, exactly, yeah.
So, part 3 of the trilogy was the Metroid Samus Returns Drill or Not, correct?
Yeah, Drill or Not, yep.
Because I was an idiot, called it Drill Dozer for some reason on my chat with John.
Drill Not or Doze. And this had a whole bunch of ties because they didn't really track time. It was, you would get 24 points.
You got 6 minutes. If you finished in under 3, you got 24 points. If you finished between 3 and 6 minutes, you got 12 points. If you didn't finish, you didn't finish. You got all the attempts you wanted. There were 2 checkpoints.
Yes.
So if you failed on part 3, you can just keep going with part 3.
Yep.
Everybody got this game from Nintendo at least 2 weeks beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's see.
If I'm going to be critical of the players, this is the only time I'm going to be critical of any players.
Out of love.
Everybody got this. You should have at least played it.
Mm-hmm.
In 15, we were told we got Legend of Zelda and Splatoon.
Yep.
They didn't send us a copy of it, but I went ahead and bought Splatoon and was terrible at it, but at least I knew how to play the game. That's all I can say for that. I'm guilty of this as well, but I was competent at least to get a couple kills.
Right, yeah.
And I knew the basics.
Mm-hmm.
And then Legend of Zelda, obviously I knew what I was doing in that one.
Yeah.
but with this case, especially being given a copy of the game, everybody should have at least played through the game one time.
Yep.
If you're gonna.
Some people I can understand because it was mostly let's see so Bailey
did.
Zerk,
and I'm not.
Wyso, Sarah, and then Kyle S and Emil we can definitely pick on respectfully and out of love. But the other 3 I can go ahead and say, you know what, those were the celebrities. They were probably either wrestling or doing their actual job of speed running.
The qualifiers with love. I love you guys.
Nothing but respect. But we hate you.
No, shut up! I didn't say that. That was my one time. Glad it says early in the video. That was my one disappointment. Given that there was no race, all I had to do was finish. Even if you got 12 points.
Yep.
That you should have at least had the controls down to figure it out. So, off my soapbox. I'm not a hater. I love you guys.
Yep.
But when you're given a chance to practice, you got to take advantage of it.
Step up your game.
So, anyway. So, how many people got 24 points? It was
So, a lot of 3s.
1, 2, 3,
7,
4, 5, 6,
10,
7.
14, 15, 16.
16. So, I think...
That's a good number.
Yeah, did any of the people who got 24 points have to go to the underground?
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so I was right.
Did any of them have to go to the underground?
Oh, boy. Hold on.
See if there's a yellow next to it.
I'm breaking numbers. Hold on. Oh,
what the fuck are you doing to my spreadsheet?
Panic. Hey, look, a distraction. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, God. Why are you doing this?
Just hit escape.
Wait, where's my escape key?
Fucking...
You know what? Close all.
You millennials and you fucking phones.
In the split second that I had it open, here we go. Let's make sure that didn't actually break anything. Yeah, it didn't break anything.
So if you see a 24 in yellow...
No one that got a 24 made it to the underground.
Wait, yep.
Oh, Bowser. But that's...
Anthony.
Wait, Bowser and... Wait, was there Anthony, did you say? Or...
That was his name,
that's
Anthony.
yeah, okay, cool.
Is that his name? Let's scroll back over real quick.
Yeah,
Anthony,
right.
Anthony V.
Yep.
He was the only one who got this. So he was a qualifier. I think he was out of New York.
Yep, he was New York.
He did kind of... He didn't do too great in shield surfing or home run.
Yeah.
He did get points both times.
Yep.
He got his 24 points in what he practiced in. So... Awesome job, Anthony.
We'll respect that.
We'll go in the underground. You get bonus credit. You did what you had to do. You practiced. You did what you're supposed to do.
Respect.
Awesome job. And you were one of the younger ones too. I think you were. I don't even think you were 12 yet.
Yeah.
I think you were like 10. I didn't have ages. So.
I didn't really notice anything. I mean, it was a lot of.
It was exciting to watch.
It was really exciting to watch.
And there was some moments again, like when people were struggling at the end, which is the way it was set up, because they kept flashing back. When you finished, then they had to go and have the 2 players left, and
the commentators were screaming at that point. They're like, "Use the grapple beam!
Use the beam!" But I think that wasn't quite as. The thing with that was you had to use several different abilities to get through the maze.
Yes.
You had the grapple beam. You had the electric shield, I guess it's called. You had the space ball, the space jump, spider ball, the bomb jump, yeah. So there was a lot of different ways, and I think there were multiple paths through some of those paths.
Correct. Yes.
There was optimal paths, like with using the grapple beam to pitfall swing across some of those chasms and stuff.
Yep.
But it's a lot of different controls to memorize, and that was the challenge. Obviously, is like learn the game.
Yeah.
Learn the abilities, learn the game. So everybody got through, and
not everybody got through.
But that ended up, the game with practice ended up being the way to get out of the first round.
Yep.
So kudos to that format for Nintendo of setting it up that way. The players who practiced got rewarded.
Yep.
So awesome game design, awesome ladder design.
Yep.
That brings us to Underground 1. Balloon Fight!
Woo!
The Mr. Iwata Classic from the 2015 World Championships. I'm
Thanks.
surprised they did not mention that at all. Mr. Iwata designed that game with Hudson Soft, and then Nintendo released it, and then he became president of Nintendo and passed away just a few months after 2015.
Correct, yeah.
And Balloon Fight was included in 2015 kind of as a silent tribute. They never said anything about his health at that point.
Right.
But then he passed away a couple months later. It's one of our favorites. Our friend Tatton is a goddamn master at this game. He flipped the score like twice on a round. Now, I believe they were playing on Wii U. I couldn't tell.
They were actually playing on the...
on Wii U Virtual Console, because that's the only way to play it on a modern platform at the moment.
Yep.
The downside of the Wii U Virtual Console is that it's lagorific.
Yep.
And you need to use the screen on the Wii U Virtual Console. Yeah. Because even if you have like the best monitor, the lag, you get the least amount of lag with your handheld screen. You always want to use the handheld screen with Virtual Console.
Yeah.
It's still not great. There's still some issues with it, but don't ever use the big screen.
Right. Yeah.
Use the little screen. You okay? Okay. Nobody was using the B button.
Yeah.
The B button the A button does a single flap to keep your guy up. This is basically Joust, so it's a flappy bird sort of style of that's totally what ripped off Balloon Fight.
Let's go ahead and explain to you millennials out there.
It's Flappy Birds.
Yeah, it's Flappy Birds.
But it's an endless runner, sort of. Endless floater, endless flapper. Going in reverse direction.
It's like doodle jump, but rotated.
And you're just avoiding the sparks. And if you stay at the bottom of the screen, there's an ocean. Yep. And invisible going back and forth along is a shark. And if the shark sees you, it'll jump up and try to eat you. So you can go to the bottom, but don't fall all the way in. And if you got to be careful that the shark will come and eat
you can see it coming at least too. So I mean, kind of. Once it starts getting a little bit close to you, it does start coming out of the water. I think
quick. But you can't actually see the algorithm of it going back and forth.
Correct.
It's invisible.
Yeah.
But A does a single flap, and then B does rapid flap.
Yep.
So if you're looking to, it's not if you need to perfect maneuverability, you don't want to use the B button. But if you're trying to get rapidly from the bottom to the top to avoid something, then that is very, very helpful rather than trying to pound on the A button, especially with a handheld controller.
Yes.
When you're trying to look at the screen, you don't want to overly excite yourself with the A button. I don't think anybody was killing this. It was kind of a blur in their presentation. Again, wasn't showing what the high score was. They kept going back and forth. Like they were showing, I think Weiss was Sarah had like a 6,000 point run. It's like, oh wow, she did pretty good.
Yeah.
And then she ended up like near the bottom of the list, so everybody was getting decently. If several people broke 6,000 on a game that they were never really played before, they were getting used to the runs, and it was a lot better than the 2015 crowd.
Right. Oh yeah. Because Cosmo
took that out right at the very end. I think
Yeah,
Aaron was near the top, and I think
yes,
Jackson Blacks was near the top.
right.
And then Cosmos pulled out at the very end. And I say that in terms of Narcissa and Cosmo at the time he's playing it versus Narcissa now. So that's
Right.
how Muhammad Ali rule. He was Cassius Clay when he won the title, Muhammad Ali after the fact.
It is nothing
Okay.
but respect. But anyways,
we
the
love
point being
Narcissa.
is that, yeah, because I mean, I was almost a little bit disappointed because there's the tactics for really playing. I was really hoping that someone would have told them go after the first 20 balloons.
They did mention. I think Bill mentioned that the colors changed, but nobody said how.
Yep.
If you get 20 balloons in a row, they change and it doubles your score.
And the multiplier locks at that point.
It locks.
So you can miss balloons
miss
perfectly
right.
fine. And it just becomes patience. You don't have to go for every balloon at that point.
Right. The other interesting thing was they took the top 2 scores this time and not just the top 1 score.
Right. That was nice.
Yeah. With 24 players, it makes a little bit more sense. And, it was a little more forgiving this tournament in general. Just with the trilogy of games also. And then the double entries in the underground.
Yeah.
But I love Balloon Fight. And that kind of sort of showed you that that's the type of game they were going for rather than speedruns this time. They were going for point-based games.
Yes.
So
kind of a mixture because they did have some
the speedrunners, I think after 15, I think they kind of got away from that.
Yeah.
I mean, Mario Kart you can sort of call a speedrun, although that's actually a game built for time. It's not.
Yeah.
Whereas a speedrun is sort of try to break a game to get the best time. You're doing things that the game wasn't designed to do.
Well, you've got Donkey Kong Country Returns that we're going to be talking about in a little bit. We've got the Metroid game we've already mentioned.
Right.
And then the very last game was kind of a speedrun in and of itself.
Yes.
But you're absolutely right. There was a decent mixture of either team-based games like Splatoon, which again we'll get into, 1v1 or score, instead of it being really heavily skewed towards the speedrunning community.
It was a mix.
Yeah, and I liked it. That was a good balance.
Yep. So, then we get into round 2. So we've eliminated 6 players.
Yep.
I kind of did not like how everybody kind of there was no player introductions this time. Everybody just kind of came out and played.
Yeah.
And it was also kind of confusing. There was no easy to read chart with because on the Nintendo World Championship website, everybody was using their screen names.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then it was basically their first name, last initial for most of the players there. So it was a little, even when I was compiling scores for today, I had a hard time figuring out that Dan was.
Yeah. What's his name? See, that goes to show.
Dan was
Pace Cat.
Yeah. See. And then some of the speedrunners used their speedrunning name, so it was we needed a guide for this sort of stuff.
We needed consistency, yeah.
And it's sad that the Twitter handles. I was lucky. I chose BSG 4000. That was my Twitter handle, and I got my little tiny spike in Google Analytics for that. If you look at my history, it's like this, and one big spike, and then all back down to 0. My literal 15 seconds of fame.
15 queries of fame.
But that's important because I mean you get this sort of thing. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and if you want that little tiny boost in your Twitch or something, that could have been helpful for some of these guys. Now somebody like Ida who doesn't want the attention, that's fine. But minor gripe. Everybody numbers got to be numbers because he has a reputation already.
Right, but it also did help his reputation even more from winning 2015, though. So it actually did give him a boost in his at least Twitch streams.
But I hope that everybody who was in it does get Killer Bee. She got she did well, so hopefully they'll get extra boost and people know who they are. And I've definitely followed everybody I can on Twitter,
and not just memes. Because it's the internet.
F those people.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's just ignore that topic because again.
On to round 2. What were we playing in round 2?
Smash Brothers. It was 8. One. How do
Super
you call
Smash
it?
Brothers.
Player.
Super Smash Brothers Wii U 8-player items on. I was shocked that there was a Wii U in the building. I did think, as big of a flop as that was, they stuck with what was good on it, and. And Smash Brothers obviously was.
Yep.
Like I said, I was chatting with John a lot, and we were trying to figure out what games are going to be in there. He's like, well, ARMS is going to be in there, Splatoon 2 is going to be in there, Mario Kart 8 probably. And he said, well, I hope Smash comes up because that's his bread and butter. He's a Smash player. One little funny thing. I was trying to yell at John to pick a Wii U trainer for the home run thing. I told him I'd give him $1. He didn't do it for some reason. I don't know, but it would have been funny if he'd broke 4,000 with the Wii Fit trainer or something. But nah, anyway, once that came up, it's like, yeah, John survived another round.
Yep.
All we got to say is he was in round 2, and I think he got 17 kills, and he was like a plus 12.
Oh my god!
And then one other player had a positive number. Everybody else was the negative. I have the scores there.
Yep.
That was second round.
Thomas G was at +5. Everyone else was in the negatives.
Oh, so Ito.
Yep.
Ito held his own. My boy Jeff from Chicago. Those are the two guys. I was rooting. I'm rooting for everybody, but my allegiances were first with the qualifiers.
Mm-hmm.
And then on a personal level, I was rooting for John because he's my 15 mate, and I was rooting for Jeff out of Chicago because I met him and talked to him up at the qualifiers. So, but again, like I said, I rooted for everybody.
Yeah, I found myself rooting. I mean, Jeff was,
and then the kids.
Yeah.
I was rooting for kids whenever I got a chance.
Yep. Oh, and they earned it.
Especially after the fact that they were against the grown-ups. I said this before, but I wanted them to hold their own and succeed, and in a lot of cases they did.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the first round, I think Tuberon won, speaking of kids.
Yes.
And then that makes sense, though, because he won the Smash tournament in San Diego, so...
Yeah.
But he got like a 7.
Yeah, he got a positive 7.
But he still dominated. I don't think...
Both Jeff and Cole, because Jeff was in the first round... Cole was in the second. That's one of the things they mentioned in their mini AMA on Discord.
Yep.
Both of them realized how screwed they were. Because, who was it? It was Jeff that was in there with Tuberon, and he knew about that. And Cole knew that there was no way that he could do anything to numbers. So both of them chose characters that could stay away. And they're like, you know what? Everyone else is going to go into the negatives. If we can just stay away, we'll survive. And that's exactly how they pushed it out.
Jeff finished 6th in his group, and they took the top 6.
Yep, so it worked.
Do what you got to do to survive.
Yep,
And you know what? The complaints with the hardcore community, which they touched on with the commentary, with the nobody likes items on, nobody likes the... You know what? Champions freaking adapt, and god damn it, the best players won, and they should have won, and they adapted to the new rules, and there was no luck thing.
Yep.
Deal with it. You can't... baseball players have to deal with injuries and weather, and football players have to deal with them. Not everybody can play at perfect 100% perfect conditions of both teams all the time. It's like you deal with what you're dealt with, and you overcome the adversity. And the best Smash players won, and the others did what they had to do to survive, and they did. And I don't think luck had anything to do with it or any BS. It was you do what you had to do.
Yep, absolutely.
And you know what? Kudos to Nintendo, because 8-player Smash is freaking fun. And that's the whole point of this thing, is to show people that this game is fun and not just fighting game community people. I love them, but it's beyond that. There's there's a big gap between filthy casual and fighting game hardcore.
Yes.
I consider myself in the middle of that. I'm not a fighting game guy, but I love them. And when you have stuff like this that lets everybody play, and you can have your moments, then good on them. And Nintendo's going to hopefully have a Switch version of, at least a Switch Deluxe version.
Fingers crossed for
with,
that.
With maybe if they did a 12-player version or something, if they got that in there, the same game with 12 players instead of 8.
Oh,
I thought 8 was already
chaos.
Amazing, because I'm one who loves my crazy multiplayer games. I love my 10-player Saturn Bomberman.
Yeah.
I love my 8-player Smash. I love the crazy, way over the top multiplayer stuff. And if they can expand that to 12 for the Switch, dude.
Coming up, 128-man Smash.
Amazing.
Pure entropy, go. That would be
so. And then we also figured out seating wise, it looks like they went kind of like 1, 3, 5, 7. I remember because there were a lot of ties in the first round, but they split everybody up evenly through seeds, which we're going to come up with later. So then the underground for round 2.
Bird and Beans.
Bird and Beans.
Oh my god.
Proyo, I believe, was the name of this game on WarioWare.
Yep.
WarioWare Inc. For the Game Boy Advance.
Correct.
One of the best Game Boy Advance games ever.
Oh my god, yes. I love that game.
When that game came out in like '01, '02.
Yep.
My friend Tat and I, we played that like all day. It was crazy. And then that game, they had those mini arcade games in there, like Sheriff
Mm-hmm.
and Dr. Wario, which is basically Dr. Mario. There was no difference. It was just a different character in it. And then they had the Proyo game, which classic, basic, risk versus reward, 1980s arcade gameplay.
Which
and
is so good. I mean, it's such a great balance to it that you really did have to figure out what kind of risk can I take for this.
yeah, and unfortunately we couldn't see the scores, but
Yeah.
Yellow Killer Bee, I think she was one who won
she came in
that,
second.
and she was just whacking those 300s with the long tongue.
Yep.
As soon as you have to start playing defense, with the method that they use with the unlimited tries in 3 minutes,
Yeah.
it was better to just kill yourself and start again than to try to maneuver yourself in that tight tight area and only get 50s.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're ever stuck in one of these weird situations with multiple retries in a certain time frame, pro tip, straight from Game Informer, go ahead and kill yourself. And no, don't take it the wrong way. No, I meant end your game prematurely.
Sorry to steal it from Game Grumps, but here's a bidwell pro tip. Go
Kill yourself. No. Isolate that. You're right, but just end your game prematurely and
keep your momentum going.
Get more attempts and go for the big score. Because it's do or die at that point. There's no point just sitting there grabbing 50s.
Yep.
So, great game, great choice. I love that the infographic said, you didn't pick
Yeah.
Don't lie, you didn't see this coming.
I did not see that coming.
As soon as
I was expecting Excite Bike.
Right, as soon as that came up, though, you just knew that everything was on the table.
Yep.
Like, Virtual Boys could have come out for an underground and next.
That would have been amazing.
As soon as that happened, you knew that everything was there. They could have wheeled out Donkey Kong arcade machines.
Yep.
Everything was on the table.
Oh, I was expecting Donkey Konga at some point or another.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Everything could have been on the table at that point. I mean, they had the little side area that they did the big multiplayer games with instead of on stage.
Yeah.
So they could have wheeled stuff in and out of there without anybody looking for this sort of stuff. So, I love that they expanded the thing this time in 17. Like 15, they teased us with that Reggie video, which was awesome, by the way. And 17, the fact that the thing was expanded so much, because I think they were actually playing that. Well, I think they're playing that on DS.
I think
because
so.
it was a DS mini game, like DSiWare maybe.
Yep. Yeah, that's actually the one I got the world record on. Was the DSiWare version? Yeah. Yes.
Look at you.
Yes. As soon as I saw that, I was like, Moose Man, Matt.
Speaking of Moose Man, our boy Moose Man in Chicago, he finished third. When everybody's chanting Moose in the Zelda downhill race,
for you.
It's for you.
Yeah.
We love you, Moose.
Love you.
Was it really? But I thought of you.
Nothing but lies.
I thought of you, Moose.
Yeah. Oh my god, because I was like, Moose, Matt, and Jeff, I hate you guys because I would have dominated at that, and then the next underground game after that, I was like, I could have kept going if I got into the underground at this point.
Let's save it a little bit. So round 3.
Yep. Is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and holy cow, that first half for the first one.
Okay, well at this point, let's see how many people we got left. We got 12 people left, and how many? How are our invitees going versus our qualifiers? Or let's just break down all 3 divisions.
Yeah, well,
the top 8, it's by division, so up through there. So
360.
So there's 4. Or that's scroll over here. So there's.
Oh, here. Okay, cool.
So there's 1, 2, 3. So there's three invitees.
3 invitees left.
3 under 12s.
Yep.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 over 13s. So over 13s they're not dominating. They got a nice plurality going.
Yep.
They got half the field left. The invitees are down to 3. And this game, unfortunately, I think wiped them all but one off the map. And had there been more invitees left, this would have killed them.
Yep.
When you make your qualifying game Mario Kart, I knew that they had to throw 8 in there, but it was kind of unfair to do it that way.
Especially with having Mario Kart as the Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
Yeah,
speaking is from a 15 standpoint. Had they put Dr. Mario,
that was another one I was like, I bet they
had
would
they
go ahead and do
like
Mario.
in 1990 they played the same 3 games all throughout.
Right.
And
yeah.
if 15, like all of us qualifiers, had we gotten a shot to shine,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't just suck at Splatoon. We could have like done well. we couldn't have just choked in Super Metroid. We could have done well on a national stage.
Hey, now it's not really your fault. Mother Brain killed you.
I don't care. It's fine. I got my moment, and here I am.
Yeah.
But I know they had to do it. It's great marketing. You have 12 places at one time locally. I take it.
Yeah.
So Switch has the ability to do 12 racers at the same time.
Yep.
Like I said before, I love the crazy multiplayer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I totally can't afford 6 Switches right now.
Yeah. What?
But I do run a tournament every year in my house, and one of these years, if I get enough friends that have Mario Kart, I'm going to have 12-player Mario Kart.
Oh my God, yes.
So, anywho.
So
they changed it up. A nice change up.
Yes.
All the Mario Kart experts are playing 200 cc's all the time.
All the time, because go big or go home.
Exactly, and that's actual real strategy with hitting your brakes, and so they throw in a 50cc race.
Wow!
What? And you think, oh well, that's going to give them, that's going to cause or whatever, and like they said in the commentary, 50 cc's means you got to manage your items way better.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not the expert. I couldn't keep track of the nuance of who was ahead and who was behind and the sort of blue shell stuff.
Right.
The same person ended up winning both races.
Yep. Super FX actually won both races.
So our number 1 seed, right?
Yep.
He lost to Ito in L.A.
Right, and then
he
Dallas
flew to Dallas, won that, but also got the top score nationwide by doing that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So our boy
Kyle,
did not win the NWC, but God damn it, he's got the Mario Kart chops and he's got something to be proud of. He took both races. Respect. So he did the Mount Wario at 50, and Numbers I think did quite well in that race. Because Numbers was just like, oh my God, I hope they don't do Mario Kart. I'm playing against Mario Kart experts. I'm going to suck. I'm going to suck. So Numbers got like 3rd in the 50cc race.
Yep.
In the 200cc race.
They definitely.
But what he did, he stayed behind for a couple seconds so that he could work his way back from behind.
Oh, nice. So, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so that he knew he was screwed. So he, instead of trying to get ahead at the beginning, he started from the behind and tried to get good items. And he I don't know what his optimum goal was for that, but since he did so well in the first race, all he had to do was kind of be average in the second race, and that's exactly what he did. So even Numbers isn't balls to the wall player. He plays strategically to kind of blend in as much as Numbers can blend in.
Yeah. And it definitely worked, yeah.
And it worked great.
And the thing I loved about the 50cc is, alright, so you said you got this by kids and whatnot. So Santiago was he? No, he was one of the qualifiers.
Yeah.
He came in second. This kid that's 12 or under, I don't know how old he is, but he got second being properly balanced.
Yep.
Again, they knew that there were going to be Mario Kart gods there, and they wanted to make it so that if there were going to be kids at that point, they stood a chance, and they did.
Well, they did more than stand a chance. If you look at the final results, 3 of the people went to the underground were the qualifier. 3 of the 4 qualifiers went to the underground. Three of the 4 invitees left. There were 4 invitees left. No, there's...
Chris M, Paste, Tuberon, Asa, and Tuberon was the only one that managed to stick around.
And Wyatt was the only qualifier who went to the underground.
Yep.
He got a total of 5 points in last place.
Yeah.
So, and he was a 12 and under.
Yep.
But he had a good run getting that far. I mean, he's playing against the best of the best. If he plays any of us mortals, he's going to beat us every time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but that just shows you what that kind of did. But they did get a chance. It wasn't early. It was probably in the right spot. It wasn't the final thing. But kind of a little unfair to the invitees, I think.
I thought so too. Yeah.
Just a little bit, but in general,
they had to. Because
I think if NWC continues to grow, they're gonna stop relying on invitees. I think they want more. I think the ideal situation is to have this so big, and so many qualifying locations that you don't need any invitees.
Yeah.
You kind of had to have it the first thing to kind of jumpstart interest in that sort of thing because they weren't sure what was going to happen with that.
Right.
And they got all these established speedrunners with followings, so let's get these people in here and let's get Aaron from Game Grumps in there to get people to look.
Yeah. And someone from Smash.
And then they got Bailey from WWE in here this time, and Ace is he's an actor. I don't know what he's in.
Like Ender's Game, Miss Peregrine, something.
He was a great choice.
Hugo, he was in Hugo.
He was amazing for
massive respect for him.
Absolutely, way more held in his own.
Yep.
And Bailey could have hit anybody with a steel chair, and she didn't. So way mass respect for her
Look
too.
at that restraint.
We were in the Hammerstein ballroom, and she could have gone up to the balcony and did a Macho Man dive from the top on top of John Numbers.
We had some signs up saying if John Numbers wins, we riot.
Yeah, exactly. But it could have been McGregor taking Mayweather to the ground for ground game had he felt he was too far behind in points. It wasn't going to happen, but the smallest possibility of it happening, really upped the intensity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. It's a joke.
Yeah.
So the next underground was Donkey Kong Country Returns, which I've never played this one, but
so
it is good. I need to play it. I obviously am a fan of the originals on SNES, and it was minecart levels, so it's that endless runner mechanic where you don't get to stop. You have to jump or not jump.
Yep.
And second minor disappointment of the night because it's basically the first two players to finish.
Yep, and then only one did.
And only one player actually finished, who was
Paste Cat,
which is Dan.
Yep.
And then there was a they determined who were the farthest two people who didn't finish, and they had a card off.
Yep.
And the longest person to survive, that was exciting to watch.
It was a little bit exciting to watch
because they went pretty far.
Yep.
And then
they chose a tough. I mean, it's not the toughest level in Donkey Kong Country Returns, but it was a fair challenge.
360 and the final.
Yeah, 360. Chris M got that.
So two of your invitees are still in the competition because of that. So so again, the Mario Kart guys had their chance to shine, and then they got eliminated with this one.
Yep.
Yeah, because this is going back to the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
So they're incorporating Wii games.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe Wii Sports will make a return. Shout out to Zach.
Woo.
And the unremembered Wii National Championships from 2010.
One of these days we'll remember him.
All right, so we're going to take a break. We're back. Okay. I have a daughter. I had to put her to bed. And I'm going to crinkle my water bottle and annoy everybody watching. So where were we? We just finished Donkey Kong Country.
Yep, I'm pulling back up the spreadsheet. Splatoon 2.
Match of the night.
Wow.
Okay. Not the biggest Splatoon fan in the world. I was terrible at it in 15. But kids love it. It gets Nintendo out of the Mario Zelda cycle of same old, same old.
Yep.
My daughter loves it. I mean, it's not about me anymore. It's about kids.
Yep.
If kids get into something, they'll stick around, and then they'll become adults, and that's you got to get kids into it. And I love the character design, and I love the whole mythos,
good.
and
yep.
And I love the idea, of shooters that aren't World War II or Halo.
Yes.
So I love it. I love the concept. I love everything about it, and I love the fact that competitive wise, in 2015. They were showing screens and didn't even show who the players were.
Yes, and this time they got it right.
And then, but on the Wii U pad, you could see the coverage and everything like that. But on a broadcast situation, it doesn't help diddly squat. Yeah. So Splatoon 2, they fix all this stuff. You could see the whole field, and they had the broadcast mode with the guy up in the booth controlling the camera angle, and he would feature certain players here, but then he'd pull back and you could see where the tower was.
Yeah.
And okay, so. It's the tower thing, so you had that tension. You had to capture the tower and then advance it further into the other territory.
And
so if they got
they get
the checkpoints, you had to hold it for 10 seconds, and then it's going back and forth, and then you had to have so much momentum to go back to the other side. And so here's the deal: they apparently can you bring up the rankings? Well, I guess you wouldn't have a ranking at that point, but they divided the teams. The 8 remaining players, you got one Of the eight remaining players in the above ground, you have one
adult,
the single invitee was Tuberon, who's basically a kid. He won a 12 and under tournament. I don't know if he's 13 now or not, but he's a kid in my book. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over. I guess 7. Or no, okay, so you have one invitee. You've got Santiago. Santiago is a kid.
Yep.
Marco is a kid. So you got 2 more kids. So you had 2 more of those kids. And then you have 5 people left in the over 13 division. But Wyatt, or no,
because
Kyle W. Kyle W. was like 16, or he was young. He was very young. So you had the kids versus the adults. I think if you ranked them by age, that's how it would have played out.
Nintendo swore on the stream that this was completely randomized.
They didn't swear. They just basically they did not point out the age discrepancy. They said that it was done. They kind of like, oh crap.
They said they seeded it. That's what I'm saying.
All they said was they seeded it.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, around me, everybody's murmuring, oh man, this is going to be a slaughter. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Splatoon's dominated by kids.
Yep. Mm-hmm. This is a kid.
Dominated by kids. There's a lot of grown-ups who play it, but the bulk of the people who are into this are the kids. And I thought that, I think they've got a chance at this because I bet you John's probably pretty good at it. But I'm just thinking of the Mario Kart guys. I had no idea, but I didn't think it was a sure thing. Right. I thought that with good tactics and whatever else, and being a team game and nobody's doing I mean, Mario Kart's a pretty solitary thing. You're not playing you're not playing on teams. So it could I didn't think it was a sure thing. And the first round proved me right. Yeah. It was back and forth, which is what it's designed to be, but it was back and forth, and I don't believe the grown-up team took it until the last minute.
Right, for the games that they took, they definitely didn't.
For the duration, for most of the duration, if you did it like a time thing, like who was ahead more by time.
Yeah.
The kid team, for lack of a better term, because I don't remember the colors every time. They controlled the tower more. They also pushed it more deep into the match.
Yep.
And then at the very end, the adult team had one last rush where they took the lead and held it.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, I think this isn't a slaughter. It's not going to be a slaughter, even if the grown-up team takes it in the second game.
Right.
The kids have already earned a medal in my book for
holding their own.
Mm-hmm. And I hate saying that because it just seems so cheesy. But
it's true. It absolutely is true.
The percent difference was 24 to 20, or no, the second one was 16 to 12.
Yep.
So they both got pretty damn close to the end.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a sign of things to come. Round 2 happens,
and then it's close. I mean, it was 21 to 24.
But the kids, I think, held the lead that time. Like the adults were trying to make a last rush, and they failed to do it.
Yep.
And it's like, 1-1. Here we go. This is what I want. This is the drama. And I have to give, I can't remember her name. She was the commentator.
Oh, I can't remember her name either.
She had the little Splatoon charm necklace.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I think among the game experts, she was great because the general guy Justin what's his name? The announcer guy had a smooth voice of gold.
Yeah, it was Justin. Yep.
Justin, smooth voice of gold. He knew enough of stuff that he had to know. A little game showy for my taste, but that's fine. That he is what he is. Then the Treehouse guys would come in and help with some of the strategy, and they kind of flip back and forth, and they were doing their jobs fine. But if you for an announced team, you really got to have the expert people and then the guys to be able to translate it to you. And she did both great. Oh, she was great.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think the best announcer of the night.
Yep.
So
they were doing a good job of pointing out the strengths. Like she pointed out at the end of the first game, she's like, if you listen to them, the kids did not communicate enough, but the adults did for how they were going. Apparently they had plans for Jeff was going to be the one to stay the closest to the tower, and Cole and Numbers, which Cole said on the Discord, he's like, I'm trying to stay back and make sure I survive. He didn't think he was going to be too good at Splatoon 2.
Right.
So he played more of a support role. But they kind of planned
Which you
it
can
out.
do. And the good thing about this time around, everybody got to pick their weapons. And you had time to commiserate. In 15... the teams are randomized. We didn't know what we were picking, and we had to pick our weapons beforehand.
Yep.
And the wisdom of crowds, 4 of us 16 players picked rollers.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the distribution of those rollers ended up being 0, 1, 1, 2.
Yeah.
And then the 0 and the 2 roller teams ended up in the loser bracket. And the 0 team, which was me, we lost. Not that it was on a special... John says that you can win well without any rollers, but I think on a bigger course of what we were on,
you guys needed it.
We needed somebody to take a lot of territory because it was one of those high-flung, everywhere type places. So, and we hadn't developed strategies about holding high grounds, and because it was a brand new course, and we were all new at it. None of us were really that good.
Mm-hmm.
So, but really, the game has come a long way in 2 years, and I hope that Nintendo can expand on it. But don't kill it. Don't overdo it.
Please don't. Right.
You know, once per platform, maybe bring in the characters for a spin-off game here and there.
Yeah.
But don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. But you got something. Keep it up. But anyhow, so round 3 comes up, and the adults have the edge this time.
Yeah.
Pretty much throughout it. The kids make one last rush, and I guess there is a rule where...
if the percentages are close enough or something like that.
I don't know what the exact criteria is, but they had control of the tower when time ran out. So I guess they got to keep their last run going after the time expired to see if they could pass the threshold of the other team.
Right.
And my boy Jeff,
Woo,
Chicago,
Jeff!
Midwest, got the final shot in to...
Yep.
take the tower back and seal the victory for the grown-ups. And like I said, I was torn that way because I'm rooting for numbers, I'm rooting for Jeff, but I'm rooting for the kids because frankly they should have had their own side tournament or whatever, but you know, this NWC proved that they have the stuff if I think the big killer we'll discuss coming up here, but up to that point, it's like, God damn those kids, you know?
Yeah.
And I felt really bad that all 4 of them got knocked out right there.
Yeah.
And, you know, Nintendo says they seeded it fair, and I'm fine with that. I believe them and all that. It's just bad draw. But, and had they pulled that off, it would have been glorious. Mm-hmm. I would have given them I was trying to give them a standing ovation, and they were pretty dejected, all 4 of them.
Yeah.
Because I felt so bad for them. And then on top of that, the Underground 4, right? This is 4?
Underground 4.
Which I would have been excited about had the situation not been what it was, but
if it was the adults that had been in there instead of the kids, you would have seen...
It was better. OG Game Boy Black and White Tetris.
And that's not to really badmouth the kids. Because I sounded
bad. Well, that's the thing. Everybody's played Tetris, that's true, but they did it level 10, 0 heart technically, but level 10, and if you're not familiar with old school Tetris, pieces are sticky.
Yep.
New Tetris, you can rotate and push around and cover for mistakes all day long.
Mm-hmm. But the moment that it locks to the bottom of anything, it's locked for good.
On old school Tetris, like they use at Classic Tetris World Championships.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Game Boy Tetris, as soon as the piece touches a surface, it locks and you're done. And at that speed, and with those strict old school rules, everybody struggled. I was so wanting to do a Chris Tang Boom Tetris.
Yep.
And I think I only got to do one. One person got a Tetris out of the 6. And
poor Santiago. Was it Santiago that the commenters? I mean, they were lightly making fun, not really being mean, but like he accidentally built a bridge and they noticed it, going all the way around.
Yeah, and you got, and here's the other thing again. You got the 3-minute deal.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And when you needed Tetrises like that, if you don't get a Tetris or screwed up, you should have ended your game right away.
Yeah.
Started over.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know. We don't remember what the scores were. I think somebody had like 1% like 3,000 points. They got the hang of it because at that level, a Tetris is only worth 1,200 points. They obviously got a few.
Yep.
So he won. That was
Pace Cat. Who also won in Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Didn't he also go back? He's been in the underground for a while.
Nope,
right?
he got knocked in there through Mario Kart 8.
Okay, so he wins 2 undergrounds in a row.
Yeah.
So amazing. And wins them, not just the second place squeak by thing.
Correct. Yeah.
And then who was second? That was
Kyle W.
Kyle W.
Yep.
So the kid, well, the oldest of the kids.
Yeah. Well, no, Kyle W. was.
He was he was the old kid. He was.
I got you. Yeah.
He was in the 13 to 16ish
yeah.
age. So the little kids got hosed on that. and
luck of the draw, unfortunately.
unluck of the draw. And I was so excited because 1990 Nintendo World Championship callback, Tetris.
Yep.
They probably had to get special permission to use that because I don't think Nintendo... I think they had the rights to publish that on 3DS for the Game Boy.
Right.
The eShop.
Yeah, but
like Tetris is really hardcore about who uses their property, and to do a public tournament like that, I think Nintendo had to get special permission. Maybe not. Maybe they're going to get sued.
I mean, they got a special announcement at the end of the broadcast when they're giving special thanks to. And
okay, because I didn't see
the Tetris company.
Okay, so they got permission then.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I was so excited they were doing this, and I'm just thinking, oh man, this is so bad. I felt bad for all of them. Like if it had been even Tetris on the DS.
Oh, that would have been so much better.
They would have had a fighting chance, I think, because you know, we could have seen what we could have saw a better second place. And then also had the adult team won or had the adult team lost in Splatoon, I think we finally got to see John Numbers in the Underground, which we still haven't seen.
Never seen
John Numbers in an Underground yet.
Yep.
In two of these things, he probably would have dominated, and again, because that's kind of the other big thing to see is to watch people dominate, and he would have had a chance to do that. But again, I was happy it was there. Sad that it was under those circumstances. Mm-hmm. And maybe in the next time, maybe some little Dr. Mario. Maybe. It'd be kind of amazing. Score attack.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, this is
the one I hate. I was not happy about number 5. Number 5 up above ground is Arms.
We're down to our final 4. Arms is going to show up at some point.
We knew it. And
is Arms only 1v1?
Yeah.
There's no multi version yet?
It's just 1v1.
Okay, so that at least it's that. But again, with these games, with the Splatoon, going back to Splatoon in 15, the motion controls are mandatory.
Yep.
And not everybody was a fan of that.
Yeah.
And I guess in this case, the whole story can be found on Jeff B's Twitter.
At SnowDogMK.
Yes.
No underscores or anything like
he
that.
posted on Pastebin talking about the situation. However, he was facing John Numbers, and John Numbers practiced. And when John Numbers practices anything and puts his mind to it, he's going to beat you.
Yeah.
So therefore, he won the second match, 2-0.
Well, that's kind of thing.
It was kind of hard to watch.
So, like, in the very first round of the first match, I guess it was working for him to do the way that he had the controls. Because he actually got a few punches off on John. Mm-hmm. But I guess when he started holding it a different way, like, if you watch from, like, the middle of the first round on forward, he doesn't throw any punches.
Right.
Ah!
Yeah. And
I understand there was reasoning behind it.
They were talking like there was a controller malfunction. They were talking about maybe getting a second chance, but the communication between the announcers and the judges and whatever else wasn't even clear to us in the audience what was going on exactly.
Right, yeah.
And, you know, they just went. And the number and they had several rounds. I mean, it was a best of 3. It
Correct.
Wasn't. He could have recovered if he really had to.
Yeah.
But I think he knew his goose was cooked, and he just did what he could, and that was it. And in the first match, Ito even got eliminated that match, I believe.
Yes, he did get knocked.
To
Cole.
Lost to Cole. So
Cole in practice.
Here is Cole. You know, I don't know about all these other games that's not Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And here he is in the final 3.
Yeah.
And he dominated.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's coming up in the future? It's with that few people, instead of being best 2,
mm-hmm.
best 2 of 3, they might have been able to do a round robin.
Yep. That would have been an interesting change of pace.
Right. Or save that for the final 3 with a round robin or something.
Right, yeah.
That way, you know, you go by matches. Whoever wins most matches wins. And if everybody gets a single win, mm-hmm. then you go by the number of rounds. And then you can have other tiebreakers beyond that. But
yeah.
That
might start getting complicated when they're trying to go ahead and keep the brackets situation relatively easy for everyone.
Yeah, it's just the 1v1 thing. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're a numbers guy, though, and not just in numbers. I mean, you understand that kind of concept. We're trying to aim for things that are like 17 and younger. Hence why I was on Disney.
Yeah, even with the Splatoon, they had a losers match.
Yeah.
So they could have done, instead of 2 and 2 and 2 and 2, they could have done the 2 winners advance and the 2 losers.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done something like that, and then they would have been the same amount of time because you didn't have to worry about the actual matches. It was just one match instead of 3 matches. But
Right.
fortunately, that ended pretty quickly, and the show was starting to get long in the tooth at this point.
That's very, very.
It was a very long show.
Yeah,
My
it
other
was.
overall thing, along with the presentation of keeping the scores, is to keep the length of the show down to 3 hours.
Yeah, they had.
That's your sweet spot.
There was way too long time between
the
getting
dad and the son were left at about the arm's point when they were down to their final 4.
Yep.
And the guy behind me was starting to get a little crotchety. The kids were still into it. Interestingly, low attention span kids. They're still into it. I'm still into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little worried about catching my bus.
Yeah.
It ended in fine. I just kept checking the clock. It's like if we're out of here by 10, I'll be fine.
Right.
And we were.
Yep.
But that 10 would have been a 5-hour show.
Yeah.
So we were getting near the 4-hour mark at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only 4 hours is a long time.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. But no more underground at this point.
Correct.
Or no, one more underground.
No, that's right. There's one more underground, and
fantastic. Everybody was like, Arms was kind of lackadaisical because there was 2 dominant wins. It was kind of like, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
My Zerk was the Arms champion. Had that been early on, he could have got his big chance to beat everybody up. But he's basically said on Twitter, I'm not a platformer guy, so that's kind of how it goes. NWC got to be good at everything.
Yeah.
So Mario Party 2.
Woo!
Holy crap! Everybody's so excited about this.
Wow.
Big reaction. Lots of N64 kids.
Yep.
I'm not one of those, but I appreciate a good Mario Party.
Yeah.
My famous John Numbers story when I met him the night before 15.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing our meet and greet, and he's like, hey, he wants to play a game of Mario Party on the DS. And I'm thinking Mario Party is the game I play with my daughter. It's casual. Everybody's just kind of having fun with it.
Yeah.
He's just like...
Yeah.
And he's like covering up his screen because it's like one of those where you had to like guess the what plate you're putting what bowl you're putting the ball hiding under, and like he's just like he's making sure nobody's looking, and I mean I knew he was good because he had that in crazy score at that point in NWC Remix, which means he's good at puzzle games and has as I see things, that was his quote, and after I saw him play Mario Party, I knew he was a shoo-in to win the whole thing.
Right, yeah.
That was the moment. And that I think and Disney XD has that footage on tape. They interviewed us all before the show, like on that Saturday night. Who do you think's going to win other than you? And I said Numbers.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many other people said that too, but I think most people were thinking the speedrunners are going to run away with it. Nope. But Numbers did pull it out, and I said basically I think he's got to be the favorite to win this time. Although I thought the qualifiers, since they were Mario Kart guys, were going to up his game a little bit.
Yeah.
But just depending on the draw and everything, I still thought he had the edge.
Yep.
And basically, he didn't lose until the very, very end. We'll get to that.
Right.
But anyhow, going all the way back to
Mario Party.
Mario Party.
Yes.
So they start out with, what's the game called? The bumper balls?
Oh, no. So there was the platforms, is what they started off with.
Right, the bumper balls. They're in your little ball.
Oh, that's right. Rolling the balls around. That's right. I completely forgot about that one. Sorry,
yeah.
And
It's
then,
called
like,
bumper balls?
the first one,
and everybody was just... were they good or were they everybody's was defensive? Because
everyone was defensive. No one was pushing
anything. You got 2
anything.
points for a win and 1 point if you won in a tie.
Right.
Because in Mario Party, even if there's 2 people tied, then everybody technically draws and nobody wins. So, but this version modified, they gave everybody tied a point. So I think the first round, everybody stayed on. The second round was ice, and then 3 people stayed on.
Yeah.
And I think Jeff lost that one.
Yep.
So he's down a point this point.
Yeah.
The third round, I think, was another draw. I didn't get the stat. I didn't get that far in my stat keeping. I'll have this done tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll have this all done by the time I post the video. And then they switched over to
the color platform.
the color platform game.
That was hilarious. Oh, that first
That
one.
that's the one meme I like because who was it? Was it Dan?
It was I know it was Jeff B because Jeff B was Yoshi.
Right, Jeff B.
And then whoever was Mario. So I think that might have been. Oh my god, I can't remember who's who.
Bring up the thing. Bring up the list. Was it? He memed himself on Twitter about it.
Wait, bring up the list.
Go back to the other side. There you go. This is so exciting. Everybody wants to see.
Yeah. Ooh.
Pace Cat.
Yep. Okay.
So Pace Cat tries to butt stomp. But with butt stomping, if the other player is off the stick,
Yep, don't touch the stick. You can't be
they
budged.
don't move, and he bounces right off, and Jeff B takes the lead again.
Yep.
And I'm so excited, and everybody's laughing and having a good old time with that. And then a couple more rounds. I think Jeff B took another one.
He took one.
So he was leading going into the final 3 games.
Yep.
I think.
And then we have to run the numbers on that.
Yeah, but then Ito takes it by the throat because only one person advances out of this, and Ito takes everybody by the throat and wins the first 2 tank rounds and gets an insurmountable lead, and they didn't even need to play the 3rd game.
Yeah.
So this is the big Ito comeback though, because
this is his ball rolling. Yeah.
Right.
He had a little bit of a hiccup with Super Mario Maker, but nothing major.
We're just saying like he's already out in this one. So he's already in the underground.
Mm-hmm.
He wins this underground, the hardest of the undergrounds, because it's just 1 out of 4, and he's behind at this at some point, and then takes the commanding lead with the tank game.
Mm-hmm.
And we go into Super Mario Maker, and
interesting level design.
With three people, and Super Mario Maker, I just auto win for numbers.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I was telling the guy in front of me, auto win for numbers, and people were all. I don't know what everybody else was saying, but that's got to be what people were assuming.
Absolutely.
And they did a stage where there wasn't a lot of death. They just did a stage which was more of an obstacle course type of thing, where if you failed, you just had to start over again.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The original NWC levels were the same way, but you could die a lot.
Yes. What was weird was I think it was Ito, was in the bottom left-hand corner,
mm-hmm.
and there was a point where he got stuck, and it's not like he got physically stuck, but it's like he started trying to troll. He knew that he couldn't win, so he's trying to find ways to get Mario stuck in random gaps. It's hilarious to watch.
I was paying attention to John the whole time because I just saw him running away with it.
It's in the castle area, and he's fallen down, and they have the sound effects that had just gone off with that, and you're supposed to go to the right, and there are these tiny little holes on the left-hand side, and instead he starts running and trying to jump into that. I think he was trying to get a fireball or fire bar to hit him, to make him small. That way he gets through, because he was supposed to jump through a hole.
Interesting. I need to watch that. I need to watch this again.
Yeah, it was. I think it was supposed to be his tactic for that, but yeah.
And, I mean, John has probably played enough of this that he knew all of the tricks. He knew the jump. He knew how to do the maximum jump, near the end with the turtles, and he knew all the physics for all those things. And he's very good at anticipating the bounces, and he hardly missed any of those, going up the vines in between the springs and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the treehouse guys were just dumbfounded. They're they did not expect that to be so quickly. They thought that they were going to struggle and have a good 5 to 10 minute match with this thing. Yeah. And when we ran our own little Nintendo Championships, we had Fern design a level for us. Mm-hmm. We were there for almost half an hour waiting for our guys to beat this thing because. And John knew as soon as he saw the 5 coins. He knew about the 5 coins, where the other 2 guys didn't see the update with the 5 coins, and they went past it. And it's John knew right away that they were there, and he was grabbing them right away and got the key instantly. And he just knew it. Wow, he's steamrolling his way into the finals. Yeah. And so the second match of the night happens with the consolation match with 2 and 3.
Wow. That was a huge shock.
The not remembered Super Mario Brothers Deluxe for Game Boy Color, one of the launch titles for Game Boy Color. Yep. And it had a silly little race game. Yep. And you could play this solo actually if you have the game, because I think you could play a ghost. Yep. Which it'll just randomly flip the blocks for you.
I didn't know that.
That's funny. So you can play this by yourself to kind of get good at it, sort of. But it really just is. And the back and forth in this game. Oh.
It got to the point where
I don't even remember
trolling
that. They at first it was a straight up race, and then they decided okay, I'm just going to stay here and try to make you jump on the spikes. Yep. And that sort of worked, and it sort of didn't. And then then Ito was down 4-3,
and he made another comeback,
and he freaking came back again to win 5 or to win 8 and 9. Yep. Mm-hmm. I mean, best of 9 was just crazy. Oh my god, how long is this going to be? The first round was especially kind of slow, but then they got the hang of it pretty quickly, and then the rest of the match was just so back and forth and entertaining. And I think the good meme side was when they were showing those graphics that they show when the princess is with Mario or Luigi for the win, and the losers all crying there. It was so good. And the funny part was, I don't know if you got to see, they didn't, I don't know if they showed the players for this, but they put one of those Jeopardy dividers.
Oh my god, yeah, there was a giant divider between
and we were
them,
saying,
yeah.
oh, that's Final Jeopardy. Like, what's the category, Alex? It was so good. And I'm trying to think of how that would, can you not see the opposite player?
No, you can, oh, wait a second.
When
Maybe
on
you
your own
can't.
screen?
I don't know.
I think you had to, because they had to show both players.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't get to see the opposite player. I thought you could. But whatever it was, they put that divider there. I don't know why. That's an interesting question. I don't know. But it's there, and it's awesome. And I'm glad that, like, another crazy Nintendo classic that they pull out of nowhere. And
Yeah.
people were really into, especially by that 9th match. Everybody's like, we want more.
Yeah.
And everybody's also just assuming that this is a consolation to be second place.
Right.
And they gave third place a medal. That was who it was.
Cole
Kart.
Who won't say definitively if it was indeed bronze. All he can say is that it was very heavy. We were trying to convince him. There's an easy way to find out. Just melt it.
Well, they definitely didn't use. They don't use like full solid gold for those trophies.
Know,
it's got to be plated.
Yeah.
But still, I mean,
it's still impressive. That
it's very impressive.
Yeah.
And that's very cool. Then the finals, Mario Odyssey. And you know what?
So real fast, Cole had said that there's a GameStop nearby that had Mario Odyssey available as a demo, and he thought he was going to make it through the finals, and he was actually practicing the physics for it, and then got pissed off that he couldn't make it all the way. He's like, I know how Mario controls! I would have won this!
I don't know, though, because, well, stage 1 was weird puzzle-based, and it was 2D, and numbers could not
wrap
it didn't happen.
No.
And Ito got right through it, and as soon as that happened, I didn't know he was not. I thought that I didn't know I didn't think numbers was out. I thought he had a good chance of still winning it, but everybody obviously knew at that point that it was anybody's game.
Yes.
And then round 2 happened, and numbers just blew by it.
Exact swap around.
He just knew, just intuitively, it just clicked.
Yep.
You heard the click, you saw the light bulb go off. The lightning storm.
These convoluted tricks with it as well. It was
first try stuff. He was just doing it, and it just got it to the top. And it was less than a minute, I think.
Yep.
On that board with the climbing the tower and the throwing your hat between the things to jump you. It just happened, and it's like, well, crap. It's another 3D level like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was anybody's game at that point, and Numbers died once. He was on the bullet bill. He was on the bullet bill, and he jumped off for some reason, or like.
Yep.
He didn't let it finish, or like was on the bullet bill as it went into the wall. He didn't jump off. I think, but he died at that point. And I don't know if Cole saw him, or not Cole, but if Ito saw him. Mm-hmm. But he didn't die. I mean, and he was struggling a little bit with the boss, and Numbers did get to the boss sequence.
He got to the boss, but he didn't.
And got a hit on him, I think.
Yeah.
But it was 3 hits to 1.
Yep.
And
but Ito had that locked down.
Ito had it pretty well under control after Numbers died.
Yeah.
And shock. I mean. Not a shock, because like I said, Numbers is, we keep calling it the Swiss Army knife of gaming.
Yep.
He's good at everything. He's not necessarily the best at everything. And when it's down to one-on-one, he was still good at it. He's going to beat, if there was 24 people doing that race in the beginning, he would have been top 5.
Correct. Absolutely.
He would have figured out early enough he would have been top 5. So... and he cemented his legend. He's still never been in the underground, and he's a goddamn legend in my book.
Yep.
And I got to talk to him for a bit, gave him a big old hug, got a good picture with him.
Nice.
Just super proud of the guy. Like, he did not choke. It was not a choke job what he did.
Yeah.
You get to the last guy, you screw up one little time. That's not like, oh, I keep doing, I don't know what I'm doing. He figured it out. He was well on his way to finishing it.
Yep.
And Ito just... the tenacity, the comebackness, the format of this thing to let you keep coming back like that. Like, you can have a letdown and keep going. If we want to go back to the very beginning, just of Ito's performance, how did he do in the trilogy?
How dare you put me on the spot?
Yeah, well, I mean, you got the phone in front of you.
Yeah, it's scary.
But
technology.
I mean, he got to the underground late, just for Mario Party.
So, like, first round, he came in 7th place.
So what was it? What is individuals?
Third place in shield surfing.
Third in shield surfing, but that's Mario Kart-esque, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
17th in home run.
So he basically just got a shot off in home run. He
Yep.
didn't really
And then he
no
got
smash.
And then he got less than 3 minutes on Drill or Not.
So
he
yeah,
got
that should have been mandatory for anybody who got a copy of that. Sorry to go back to that. And then so we're just going over the Smash Brothers. He finished 6th.
Second.
Really?
Wait. Oh, yes. Smash Brothers Wii U on his group. He came in second.
He's saying second to numbers. So,
yep, second to numbers.
So wow.
Yeah.
Who else was in that group?
All right. So we had Cole, Kyle W, Kyle H, Santiago, Stephen G, and Asa. I kind of expected Asa to do a little bit better, but I mean, you got numbers in there, and I mean, he still did well, but.
So Ito's strategy was. Did he talk about his strategy being like? Was that?
Ito
him?
wasn't in the Discord, unfortunately.
Okay. I know that's like the one place you can actually talk to him.
Yeah, sometimes.
He's not on Twitter.
Yeah.
I do need to write him a lengthy congratulatory email.
I was going to say, we've got his email address.
Well, I don't need to tell people you have his email address.
It is...
He does have... no, we're not. Shut up. He wants to be private. Let him be private.
Ito at whitehouse.gov. Edit this out. Anywho.
Funny jokes?
What? No, we don't have any of those around here.
No.
But anyway,
so even like his weakness, he's getting second place.
So yeah, second place in that.
Mario Kart, obviously, he did not win that.
No, but he did do fourth.
Kyle killed on that.
He kind of ranked second overall, though.
So
how did that happen?
He had a fourth and third.
Right. How did he get second after that? Though?
But look at the gap: 30 points to 19 to 18, because everybody else just.
Holies! Okay, I understand now.
Yeah, Kyle ran away with that one.
That's right.
Who was Kyle W? What's his?
That's Super
Twitter?
FX.
Super FX. Well, there you go. Super FX really showed it that.
Yeah.
He's the Mario Kart man on that one, but Cole got second there. Overall in the Mario Kart.
Overall in Mario Kart, Cole got sixth. Kyle, okay, so Super FX got first. Ito got second.
He was sixth, but he had 16 points, so he was very safe. Like the cutoff between
close.
There were 4 definite basement dwellers in Mario Kart.
Yep. So the cutoff point was 7 points. Wow.
Right.
That's
Marco got very lucky there.
Yeah.
But but again, another good performance.
Yep. And then we go to Splatoon, where he was on
the winning team.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell you about his individual performance. You'd have to ask him personally about that. But the team did what they had to do. And arms.
He got perfected once by Cole.
He lost in arms.
Yep. That was it. I mean.
He lost in arms, and then comeback time, baby.
Yep. Well, I mean, except for Super Mario Maker, but he was able to.
That's what I'm saying. But he came back when he had to.
Yep.
And I mean, I don't.
Technically, does that mean that he's the only person that's gone to underground twice? Like to go from underground to above ground, then back down to underground.
Yeah, they didn't call it that, but
that's how I'd count it at least.
The double elimination format. That's sort of what it is.
Triple for him, then lucky.
Whatever. He had to win when he won.
Yep.
And he pulled the Cosmo roll this time.
Yeah.
Cosmo came back in the underground at the very last second to get to Smash Brothers and held on in Smash Brothers because he was behind after round 1 in Smash.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Then came back for second. Then in Mario Maker, he lost round 1 because he didn't know about. He was lost in round 1. Round 2, he actually managed to pull off.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So his head start, his John Numbers' head start in the final was only 15 seconds.
Correct. Yeah.
And he had trouble with the wall jumps.
Wall jumps. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right. And again, I'm saying he because at the time I would say she for now.
It's. Please don't sue us.
No.
But anyway, so yeah.
But he took but my boy Ito,
yep.
I know that he's not big into celebrity, and his speech afterwards is very poignant about him always being second place and never winning these things.
Yeah.
And technically, he was second place with the qualifying, and he probably was under his skin a bit that Replay FX beat him.
Yeah.
In Dallas.
Super FX, not Replay FX.
Oh, not Replay FX. Oh, go to Replay FX in Pittsburgh next summer.
He got beaten by an entire get together. It happens.
I'll be there running a Dr. Mario tournament. But anywho, Super FX. But Ito's great, and
yep.
I hope that he comes out of his shell enough. Mario Kart shells.
I don't get it. Anyway, yeah. Hopefully we can get him out though.
I don't. He doesn't need to be a celebrity. He doesn't need to like be sponsored. He doesn't need ads and be sponsored and do all this kind of crap. But it's a very small fraternity, especially among the winners. I mean, they're. You got Mike, you got Steven, you got Thor, you got Jeff Hansen.
Yep. And now you've got Numbers and you've got Ito.
You got Numbers, and they. I hope that there's rapport between those guys and that they're not just these singular guys that are just out in their little universe.
Yeah.
Doing their little thing. I
hope not.
I hope not either. I hope that he gets some benefit out of this other than a trophy.
Yep.
I mean, John Numbers has picked up a sponsorship and he's flying him out to these tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
So you know, super congratulations to Ito. I love the guy. I hope to talk to him a little bit at some point. I'm gonna try to get a hold of him after I get, because we got some projects in the line. We'll talk about them when the time comes. But you know, my goal is to keep this group of fraternity, and not just among the the qualifiers, but among the close people who do qualify, like Vince from Tetris World Championships. I got to know him a lot better because he damn near made it to the finals, and Patrick Scott Patterson and Paul Tesi and Moose Man and
Matt Beach, hit a couple of spots there.
So like a lot of these guys that are the close but not perfect guys, it's like every single one of them is super cool, and that's my goal in this thing is just let's be cool with each other and have these fun things, and then have reunions at some point and fun competitions, and let's, you know, it's a very special thing because, you know, not Nintendo is going to, you know, use these guys for their promotion, and after the fact they're not going to have much to do with them anymore, and that's that they're not in the business of doing that. We have to do that ourselves. Right. So that's why I was in attendance in 17. The only thing, I wasn't in VIP or anything. I did ask a guy I know at Nintendo to get me in the door so I didn't have to wait in line.
Nice. Did he?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's it. That's the only benefit I got. I didn't have to wait in line. It's not much of a benefit. I was sitting in the fourth row because I got there at 3:30 when they opened the doors, and that's where I got to go. Okay. That was my one benefit, was not having to wait in the regular line. But no, I got no swag other than I got the same swag everybody else got. I didn't get any refreshments or a Wi-Fi password.
I was gonna say, what kind of swag did anyone else like at the location itself get swag, or was it you picking it up at the store?
I went to the Nintendo store first, and I bought a T-shirt. Well, actually, for myself, I just bought the sweatshirt. Mr. Hendricks out in Chicago asked me to pick him up a shirt, which I got him a shirt and a hat, I think. And then when you bought NWC merchandise at the store, they gave you a free Terrible Towel or a Homer hanky, whatever it is. You might have saw those red hankies. And then they also gave us a red hanky at the door. So I have two of them, and I'm going to send one to Mr. Hendricks. Yep. They gave us the little lanyard. They gave us a towel and a wristband. And I have so many of those wristbands, but I got a special red one, I guess. But that didn't get me anywhere special. It just, that's all they had on. Yeah. At the will call line, that's all they had was the red wristband. But there was nothing special, and I got so many of those other wristbands from the qualifiers and from 15. Yep. But it was a really great experience overall. I think, like I said, the energy of the room was so much better. To me, like I couldn't tell from the broadcast, but the energy in the room was definitely better because they could barely half fill the Microsoft Theater, but they could completely fill the Hammerstein Ballroom. Right, yeah. The history of the room got to me a little bit. I liked it because of like the wrestling pedigree and stuff that they've done there in concerts and whatnot. It was a really nice, small, intimate room where you could feel the energy, and everybody in New York was super into it. And like I said, I was a little nervous that they were going to troll the people who were doing badly, but again, I'm taking credit for it, but when Abe was having his moment and everybody's cheering for Abe, but not in a sarcastic, trolling measure, they were actually wanting him to finish the level. Yeah. And he didn't do it, but then he came back and like I love everybody getting their moment. And the kid I talked to afterwards, I forget who it was. He was with his dad. He was just kind of by himself, kind of like just soaking it all in, or wasn't really talking with anybody, because John was over there with all these people from New York who were there to see him. Yep. And he was just sitting there by himself, and I went over and talked to him a bit, and was like, how'd you do, and did you have fun, and all that kind of thing. I got him to sign my Mario Kart 7 box that I had with me. I was trying to get everybody to sign, but I didn't have time for that. Yeah. But
Jeff K might have. he apparently took your advice to heart and started walking around with it.
Jeff,
I don't know if he got everything,
well, thank you, Jeff. I told him to do that, and he said that he would send me a copy of that poster, so I don't have to have the card. But that kid got to sign an autograph.
Yeah. That is the kind of thing that helps build your self-esteem in the long run.
It was one of the Kyles. There were so many Kyles.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised the South Park memes weren't flying at this point that Tetris killed Kyle or something like that. But that kid and his dad, and I've talked to another dad since then on Twitter, and he was just like super happy that I'd reached out to him, and I was saying that, look, I'm trying to keep this group together, and it's we got to do it ourselves, like I said before. And his dad was super appreciative that I said, if you can make it to Portland in a couple weeks, I'm going to be there. We can do something. And he said he couldn't, but he'd appreciate that I talked to him about it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And in the future maybe they can arrange it. But it's going to have this for life. And I'm going to touch on this in my panel in Portland in a couple weeks. But some of these tournaments and some of these winners, Nintendo doesn't remember them or recognize them or anything.
It's up to us to maintain the history.
And like the Atari tournaments, Bill Heineman, who's now Rebecca Heineman.
I wasn't know about that.
Okay. Yeah, he was a game developer now. But
okay.
You might have seen that Space Invaders shoot-off picture. It's kind of a famous picture.
Yeah.
It's a black and white picture with all these
TVs,
with all these wood panel grain TVs, all this perfectly in a row. It's like the most glorious '80s picture ever.
Nice.
Who were the finalists in that thing? There was an Intellivision Astro Smash shoot-off where they were going to invite 15 people to participate in these finals, but the game was so easy and people found ways to cheat.
Yep.
That they had to invite 61 people to the finals instead of 15. So all of this marketing budget went through the roof for this thing.
Yep.
But where are the finalist list for that? Like that's hidden away in Keith Robinson's files, who passed away recently, and those are kept. But I want to get into those and find these people and start getting a database together with all these different players and results, and to get these people the recognition for their contribution to what esports when it does explode and become a thing, because it hasn't yet.
It's getting close, and you get the moments where it almost breaks through, like when things on ESPN.
You need that Babe Ruth character.
Yes.
You need that person who's larger than life, who's not just good, but also
bombastic,
very charismatic.
Yep.
You need the combination of the two. Like, poker had its big boom when Chris Moneymaker won, because he was an every guy who beat all those pros and won millions of dollars.
Right.
Baseball was like around for 50 years until Babe Ruth came around.
Yep.
Like, they didn't build a Hall of Fame until Babe Ruth hit. So it might take a long time for it to break through past the typical audience. And
you've got people that are kind of almost there. Billy Mitchell, Todd Rogers, Don Hayes.
Let's not. Yeah.
I'm not even going to get into that. What I'm just saying
there are celebrities who were within within
the sphere, they are very charismatic. But you get them outside of the sphere, and people think, oh, you guys are just nerds.
Right. So you need that person who transcends that, who isn't arrogant. Like right now, like the most popular people in video games are YouTubers.
Yep.
Nothing against that, but you need the person who has both credibility in both.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't happened yet, but that's going to be the key to growing all this. But I want to celebrate the people who've come before.
Right.
Chris Tang is amazing. He's charismatic. He just was before his time. And Boom Tetris for Jeff guy. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He's incredible, and he's not just known for a phrase. He won a world championship for Sega. He was in the finals in 1990 NWC.
Mm-hmm.
He won the Working Designs, one of their RPGs for the Saturn. They had the first person to beat this game wins $15,000. He won that.
Dude, nice. I didn't know that.
Shining Wisdom, I think it was.
Okay.
And you see that star on all these Wii used games. It's like, well, Jesus, who won that thing?
Yeah.
And then Chris Tang on Facebook a couple years ago posted a picture of the letter that he got from there. It's like, oh, that guy won it. How about that? Like there was a clique of these kids that were dominating all this stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
He was huge in the fighting scene back then.
Yep.
So like these. But I want to celebrate these people and just put their name in an almanac or something, because if you leave it to Wikipedia, they're going to erase it or something, Yep. Or if you leave it to a database online, that's going to get questioned or something. You need something a little more permanent, and that's what I want to do. So that's my goal with this stuff. And also, it's just good people hanging out and just celebrating an accomplishment, because this shit is hard. Okay? Mario Kart was hard. I couldn't break 130, okay? I was terrible at it. I
was 0.6 seconds away from first place, and I dear God, I was so exhausted by the end
This
of the
dude
day.
was playing this game for weeks.
Yep.
And and against people who've been playing it for years, and and like last time with NWC Remix.
Yep.
I was lucky because this was a skill that nobody had really worked on before, but somebody like John Numbers figured it out instantly and was way ahead of the curve. He was at 11 million when everybody else was at 7 or lower.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Since then, the top scoreboard is what it is now. Everybody's in 8 figures now. And, and I still have the record at 17 million. But so,
cheap pop.
That's all I've got. That's the only thing I've got anymore. And Numbers is still kind of annoyed at me. He's like, "How am I ever going to break that?" It's like I just tell him that you get that god layout and you're going to beat me. I know it.
Yep.
So it's only a matter of time, unless like the Miiverse actually erases that scoreboard for good.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So if that happens, then it's gone.
Please, Nintendo.
Well, I mean, it's I don't know. I have it. I'm never going to record that because I don't have a DS with video capabilities.
Right.
So it's my one little stupid thing that I can have. But again, I don't care. Doing stuff live in front of people is amazing.
Yes, it is.
Go
out and do it.
Go do it. Go compete in these things. Practice and
build a local scene if you must, because that's what really gets it. Is you start doing the grassroots stuff, and that's what happened with the Columbus Retro League. We wouldn't have met if it weren't for you doing anything like that.
I love speedrunners. I love what they do. They do amazing work, but. And even like arcade record guys, that do it at home. They're at home practicing. Mm-hmm. What they do is practice.
Yeah.
Michael Phelps doesn't get to set world records at his home swimming pool in his backyard. Usain Bolt doesn't get to set world records at his track at his high school nearby.
Right.
They can practice and break those times all they want at home, but to break a record, they have to do it in front of a crowd, in front of people,
in front of judges,
in front of judges with conditions that are laid out and perfected and checked and everything. So there is no, they check for dope, they check for all that kind of stuff. They have their rules, so you have to follow those rules to get those records in front of people with your one shot.
Yep.
It's not, I'm going to get 20. That's how I got the record in that stupid NWC Remix, not because I'm better. Packy and Numbers would beat me in a one-off, most likely.
Yeah. No offense, but yeah.
Yeah, if we did a best of 7, I'd probably take 2.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm good, but I'm not that top of the top tier.
Yeah.
I believe it or not, I'm admitting this. So, but go out and do these things live, because that's where the action happens, and the unknowns happen, and the nerves get to people, and then you get the moments of glory where you can come back and where you can overcome your nerves, and you can be an Abe, and you can be an Ito, and you can be a John Numbers, and you can dominate everything, and you can have one little small moment of weakness, but you're still a goddamn legend.
Yep.
He is a legend. That's it. No, and if they do it again next time, they're gonna have to just say, "Look, dude, let somebody else qualify. We'll invite you."
Yeah.
Seriously, but they just, I don't know what the plans are for NWC. I will have to say that like the game variety was better, the competition was better.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The kids were amazing. The fact that they brought them in at all was great. They held their own.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe don't have them separate next time. I don't know. That's up in the air.
The fact that
the energy was better. The one thing I will say, it doesn't have the gravitas of 15, because 15 was the anniversary.
Right.
It was in a bigger theater. They had Reggie there. They had Miyamoto there. They had Thor Ackerland there. They had more press there.
Yep.
This seems like if Nintendo's going to run with this, that they're not going to be able to put their whole marketing machine behind it. They're going to say Nintendo versus, I guess is the Twitter account. I don't know if I don't know what type of division is running behind that, if it's just a marketing arm or if it's a co-opted. I know JC did a lot of the work behind the scenes running this thing. I don't know if he was we follow each other on Twitter. I really appreciate any of those guys at Nintendo that follow me still, because I'm just a runt basically, and thank you guys. You're the best for that. But I don't know that their long-term strategy is with NWC, but there was no real reason they had to bring it back in 17.
Yeah.
Mario Odyssey was like was kind of anticlimactic. Like that was the things was lacking versus 15 was the gravitas and the finale.
Yep.
The finale of Super Mario Maker was awesome.
Oh, so
it was hard.
good.
It would have been hard to beat that.
Yes.
And they didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think you can, because there were just so many ways to shock people with what you can do with this game. Whereas Mario Odyssey, it's a cool play mechanic and it's going to be a fun game and it's going to sell well for the Switch.
Right.
But I don't think it's. I don't know how to put it. It's like had they been able to incorporate the dinosaur maybe, but I don't know if they would have been able to do that competitively.
Yeah.
They were doing difficult stuff, but I think it's gonna. I think that I think the Nintendo Versus is going to push more toward the competition part and less for the marketing stuff.
Right.
It obviously has got to be the whole purpose of it is marketing. That's what it's always been. Even in 1990, it was wish fulfillment. It was making the wizard real.
Yep.
It was making Video Armageddon real with the set and everything. But it ultimately was, let's get people out there buying Nintendos because 16-bit is on the way.
Right.
And we still have cool Nintendo games coming out. And Super Mario Bros. 3 is amazing, and come play it. But here's Dr. Mario. Here's Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah.
Here's Final Fantasy. Here's the 4 score. Here's Super Spike V-Ball. But let's listen to me reminisce like this. But or as Thor like to talk about how Astenix was like the big game at his location. I don't ever remember seeing that. I remember Mega Man 3 being ours, but we had a late run in late September. Mm-hmm. But anywho, about reminiscing about 1990, who cares?
Yeah.
But for the future NWCs, I think they are going to put more emphasis on the competitive stuff. They're going to make it more competition, and that's probably going to mean more stakes are going to have to be involved. They're going to have to maybe, start
it's
giving
become
real prizes.
And it's become kind of a meme that they've always called it the Nintendo World Championship.
I think they're working their way toward that. That's another thing.
Because they did bring in, which kid was it from Germany?
360?
Yep, and I think they got someone from England?
Asa was from England.
Well, I mean, I thought there was someone besides the actor. But yeah, but the point being is that they are going more across the sea.
Sarah was Mexican also.
Okay, yep.
From the Canadian. Pace Cat was Canadian.
Yep.
So, they expanded the base for children under 12.
Yep.
They allowed Canada to be in except for Quebec.
Right.
So I think the long-term plans, and they've done this before. 1990 was America only. Mm-hmm. Then 1991 was America Japan. Only. 1982 was when they introduced the Japanese champion to face Jeff Hansen.
Right, yeah.
So, and the thing with that is you can have like your big national events, and then you can just kind of have the champions face off at like an E3 or something like that, and keep it on a tighter budget that way, because you're getting into really big money when you're flying in people from Asia especially.
Oh yeah.
But you can just fly into champs.
Yep.
And that shouldn't be that bad. So I think they're working their way toward that. The growth is there, and venue wise, New York was great, but I think if you have it in a city like Columbus, Ohio, you would get a lot of people who are really excited to see that sort of thing. Mm-hmm.
At least two. At the very least.
Aaron Hansen came to Columbus on a stunt at a Wendy's and got 500 people to show up in a drainage ditch at Easton Town Center.
Yeah, at like 8 o'clock at night.
At 8 o'clock at night in a Wendy's parking lot.
And only with 24-hour notice.
With 24 hours notice.
So,
if you do it at a place like Columbus, I'm not saying just Columbus. Like, the idea is if you go to bigger cities, you're going to have people that are already there that are just going to show up. But
right.
The kids behind me came from Connecticut. The kids next to me had to take a train in. So if something like this were to happen in a medium unknown city, you would get a good crowd there. I think that they were really disappointed in 15 and not filling up that place.
Yeah.
They thought the E3 crowd would do it, and they didn't.
Right.
I think you could fill up a theater with Nintendo fans if you did it for free, and the accommodations and the rentals and that sort of thing. And with the internet, it doesn't matter where you broadcast from.
Yeah.
And you held the Pokemon National Championships here last year.
That's true, yep.
So you can get a good crowd here. So I will definitely shill for anywhere in Ohio, but in general, I think that if you move this thing around, expand the locations for the qualifiers, move the championship around a bit, you can get bigger crowds at the event itself. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have it in the big cities all the time, because what they rented for the Hammerstein Ballroom has got to be freaking insane price wise, and they weren't charging at the door, and they were selling $6 hot dogs. Hammerstein Ballroom probably did okay, but they probably weren't killing it.
Yeah.
But just a suggestion. There are places all around the country that would love to have this sort of event, and they would market hard for it. So, anywho, great
Yes.
stuff. We've been talking for an hour and a half plus. I don't know how long the break is when I was putting my
About
kid to bed.
10, 15 minutes where I was literally staring at the
And
camera.
I hope that I didn't think we just needed 2 hours long. I hope we were coherent.
Ish.
I hope people were kind of paying attention. Maybe I should add some graphics in or some pictures in.
Star wipe.
But
Who's doing the music? Danny Elfman.
I had a great time. I'm glad I made the trip. If I'm within a reasonable distance in 19, I don't know if I can fly to LA again.
Right.
But if there is a finals again, I'm a part of this fraternity. I intend to be a part of the fraternity. I want to welcome everybody in who's new with open arms. 18, 19, whenever you guys decide to do this again, hats off to everybody who put this on. The qualifiers were way better this year. You had the graphics on the screens. In 15 it was just a accessories aisle in the cell phone section with a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that everybody else got to get their better moments. And if you need me for help, I'll work for free.
Yep. You can reach out to him.
That I will gladly help you guys out. I guess I just want this to grow too because it's important to me. And again, I'm going to be in Portland in 2 weeks with Thor Ackerland, with Chris Tang, with Robin Mihara. All three have won major championships in their time, and all three were finalists in 1990. I was a mere semi-finalist, and then I cried in 2015 on Disney XD. I don't deserve to be on the stage with those three guys, but I'm going to be there anyway, and we're going to discuss the history of esports with this sort of stuff.
Yep.
And fun panel at the Retro Gaming Expo in Portland is the best retro gaming convention in the country. It surpassed CGE now because CGE is no longer. So if you don't get out to this year, come out to another year. It's fantastic. The YouTubers will be more popular than us, but that's fine. I think Metal Jesus is going to be there. Pat the NES Punk's going to be there. All these other guys that are great. And
yeah.
So it's a whale of time. I wish I could go there every year, but I work in elections, and normally in October in an elections department, I can't. Especially last year, I don't think I can do that. We were a little busy, but this year I managed to get the time to go out there.
Nice.
Because nobody cares about voting in off years.
Yeah.
So, anywho, thank you, JD, for your work. One of these days, I hope to see you out there.
I'm hoping to. Especially with seeing again Tetris in the underground and seeing Bird and Beans and seeing Balloon Fight. Because while I can't get to Tatton's level, I did get. Because the time that I won Hexa, I came in second to him, and he beat me by only 30,000 points.
Yeah.
So I can hold my own in all of those underground games. It's like, even if I had sucked at the beginning, I still would have repped it.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. Well, and John was saying that I was talking to John about the possibility of him playing Tetris, and he's like, "Yeah, I would have probably won that, but he didn't think Mario Kart would have been a crapshoot."
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And that's the way it should be.
Yep.
You know what? It's an opportunity, and it's not something that you're necessarily going to be good at, and it's adapting, and champions adapt, and John is a champion, and Io is a champion. Mm-hmm. And, all the qualifiers are champions. They won because they were good.
Yep, absolutely.
And congratulations to everybody. You're all awesome,
yep.
And this has gone on way too long, and thank you for watching. Squish that like button! No, fuck you, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm not a celebrity. I don't ever plan to be one.
Hi there! We need us to go ahead and, okay, I can't really say molest the like button. That might be a little much.
Stop.
I'm trying to channel as much 90s as I can. Pop a 540 McFlip twist all up on that like button, and then subscribe, and then unsubscribe and resubscribe.
Surge! Hashtag 90s. Good night.
I'm trying to think if there's a joke I can do here. Because, Chris, you're going to go into this, and you're going to record this. And, I'm trying to think of something funny to say to at least entertain you. I got nothing, dude. I was thinking, stealing a joke maybe from a podcast or whatever. And be like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and host my own press conference here. Let me go ahead and take questions from the crowd. Yes, you, crazy taxi person. You're telling me to pick a car and driver. Um, I don't like getting into politics, but if I had to choose, I'd say go with a right-leaning Gus. Um, see, I'm too tired. I've had a stressful day. Da 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 da. Place meat or chicken on an aluminum pan or griddle, and it allows it to thaw quicker than just being put on a plate. I learned science. Voices. I'm gonna look inside your computer. Literally. Don't worry. Like hands up and whatnot. I'm inside you. Creepy. Man. And now we watch as JD reacts to gifs he sees on Reddit. There, finally blinked. Now I see dots.